Hi guys, Rainbow Heart Freedom Eagle here. The title of this video is the 3 biggest mistakes people suffering with chronic autoimmune diseases do every day and how to flip it to your advantage. I help people suffering with autoimmune disease with feeling pain and exhaustion all the time. Let's get into it. Okay. Let's see. To eat or not to eat? That is the question. What the heck does that mean? Let's see if this will show. Anti-inflammatory food. Why is this important? First, let's start with some definitions. These inflammatory foods, let's talk about inflammatory and anti-inflammatory foods. These inflammatory foods include refined vegetable oils, processed meats, fried foods, and processed sugar. That's from the good inside. Now, from ancestor supplements, avoiding inflammatory foods, such as what? Common food intolerances such as gluten, pasteurized dairy, processed foods, and table sugar. You're like, oh God, that's all the yummy foods. These foods may trigger the body's immune response, leading to isolated or systemic inflammation and a weakened immune system overall. So what are a couple of other names that might be more familiar? Anti-inflammatory foods, clean foods, toxin-free foods, whole foods, unprocessed foods, AIP diet, paleo diet, anti-inflammatory foods, power foods, medicinal foods, nutrient-dense foods, antioxidant. Oh, I already said nutrient-dense. So even if it's not the exact same wording, it's all within the same realm. What are some concrete examples or stories? Okay, let's talk about the first. Hold on. Let me get comfortable. Let's talk about the first tier. Pure food. What do I mean? One ingredient only. Mono, like when your body eats one thing at a time, you can test it out and know whether it agrees with you or not, because there's no other factors in your diet, meaning you're only eating one food at a time. One ingredient only foods. Whole, they're unprocessed, like the food that it's closest to its original state when it's alive, like an apple, as if it was picked from the tree or the ground. No ingredients list. Oh God, some of the peel, like the avocado and watermelon, my goodness, they're GMO, they're manufactured. It's like, what is that? Is that a dummy fruit? Yeah, stay away from GMO, genetically modified. So it's best when it's only one ingredient and nothing else. Organic is even better because it has 0 or less pesticides and chemicals. What are some examples? Unprocessed beef, steroid-free, hormone-free, antibiotic-free, grass-fed. Okay, so the second tier. The first tier I said was pure food, like in its whole state, like the apple. Second tier, anti-inflammatory foods. No matter what disease you're battling or healing from, one thing in common is always eat more anti-inflammatory foods. So, according to the good inside, some chronic inflammation is linked to almost every disease. It makes sense to try and reduce the inflammation. Limiting the intake of foods that can trigger inflammation in the body. According to the Goebbels Institute, less immediate threats that can trigger a smoldering type of low-grade inflammation, which over time leads to tissue damage and disease. So you may not even notice, but eating like all these fast food with the seed oils, you may not have like an immediate and intense allergic reaction, but the low grade and over time, it actually is creating disease within your body. You're probably like, oh my God, this is so boring, blah, blah, blah. We know this. Exercise, eat right, do the right things. Well, just stick with me. Let's get into the nitty gritty of it because it is going somewhere. So we can take control. We can take our life back, our health, our vitality, and our wellness back. We can take responsibility for ourselves. We don't have to just listen to outside factors or other quote-unquote leaders that think or pretend that they have our best interest. When we educate ourselves, we can know what is really right for our bodies, and the proof is in the pudding when you actually heal your diseases. Through these different lifestyle changes, which include diet. First, diet is what we're focusing on right now. So the best part is that while a healthy diet helps to suppress chronic inflammation, the same phytochemicals found in vegetables also strengthen the body's ability to turbocharge an immune response to more serious threats like those from infections. That's according to the Goebbels Institute. AIP. Have you heard of that diet? Autoimmune protocol? So if you have autoimmune disease, you probably have. It's more strict than paleo diet. And why am I going to go and touch base upon this? Well, how does it link with inflammatory food versus anti-inflammatory food? Let's see. The AIP diet aims to help manage inflammation through an elimination diet. So basically, it's really strict. You're going to eliminate almost everything. And you're just going to introduce and reintroduce foods one at a time to see how it affects your body in a adverse or bad way, or if it's neutral or supportive. How do we know this? We look at our biomarkers. When I say biomarkers, we can record and measure different things such as like sleep, sex drive, mental clarity, strength, stamina, gas, bloating, morning wood, things like that. Well, of course, morning wood for men. So this AIP diet, it aims to help manage inflammation through an elimination diet, removing foods from the diet, then replacing them gradually. You may consume moderate amounts of fresh fruit, bone broth, minimally processed meat, and other items. What's the difference between paleo and AIP? Paleo is more broad, AIP is more strict. People on a paleo diet will focus on specific foods such as eggs, seeds, fruits, vegetables, and minimally processed meat. The person on AIP diet will move toward a paleo diet, but they will go through a stage of elimination and reintroduction. This means they will eat similar foods to those on a paleo diet minus the foods that seem to cause symptoms. Do I totally support this? No, I have my reasons. I'm not going to go into it. I'm just introducing these concepts to you for the sake of this video's topic. So, what are the specific foods in the elimination phase of AIP, autoimmune protocol diet? Foods like grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, nightshade vegetables, nightshades such as like potato, tomato, eggplant, bell peppers. Eggs and dairy are completely avoided. Tobacco, alcohol, coffee, oils, food additives, refined and processed sugars, certain medications such as NSAIDs or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs should also be avoided. Examples of the NSAIDs are like ibuprofen, naproxen, high-dose aspirin. All this talk of inflammation, did you know probiotics can help to balance bacteria in the gut by also fighting low-grade inflammation related to aging? Probiotics, what are they? Probiotics are live microbial organisms that can help and restore and maintain the balance of beneficial bacteria in your gut. Why is the gut important in detoxification? So I went from the elimination diet, showing some inflammatory foods, and those are the ones to avoid. And then now talking about the gut and probiotics. These probiotics are good bacteria that live in your gut. The gut is not just your stomach, it starts in your mouth and it ends in your anus. So it's really the whole tract. And we all have different organisms living there. We want to increase the good bacteria and decrease the bad bacteria or pathogens. Why? Because it'll help us feel better and be healthier and stronger and, more beautiful and youthful. Feel better overall. So I was asking, why is the gut important in detoxification? Okay, not only does the gut play a role in detoxification, also in nutrient absorption and immune function. Over 70% of our immune system is in our gut. So it makes sense to take care of it. I mean, have you heard of the gut-skin connection? Have you heard of the gut-brain connection? Or they call it axis? Either way, everything is interrelated and connected, all the systems in our body. So the microbes in our gut are like little factory workers who process the good, the bad, the ugly. It's their job to ship nutrients to where they need to go. Think vitamins, minerals, proteins to help you think, lift heavy things, to calculate, as well as pass along toxins that can be excreted through urine, perspiration, and healthy bowel movements. One of the first ways we can facilitate proper treatment and tune-up is through some probiotics. What was the first way? Probiotics. What are examples of probiotics? Fermented foods like kimchi, kefir, yogurt, not the unhealthy yogurt that like mainstream stores sell. Really clean yogurt that's just plain without additives. Same for everything else, really. Like the kimchi as well. Get the ones without additives. Everything, I'm going to tell you. Without toxins, without preservatives, additives, emulsifiers, anti-caking agents, all these things. We want clean. Like I said before, one ingredient is the best. The least amount of ingredients. You don't even want an ingredients list. So what are examples of probiotics? Fermented foods, again, such as kimchi, kefir, yogurt, miso, tempeh, kombucha, sauerkraut. Other examples of food sources with beneficial bacteria, i.e. probiotics, could be sourdough, the real sourdough, not the fake one. There's a lot of fake ones. I'm not going to go into the details of how to determine the real sourdough here. Maybe I'll answer it in a comment or do another video on it. But the real stuff, like the real sourdough, pomegranate, and the real expensive Parmesan Reggiano that you have to grate without all the additives and toxins. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's imperative. When you're detoxing, It takes a lot of effort in the discipline, the money, the lifestyle change. It's a lot. The medicines or supplements and herbs you'll be taking. So, what's the point of reintroducing all this toxic food with all these preservatives and additives? Those are toxins and that ruins your gut. That does the exact opposite of what the probiotics are doing for you and your gut. So it's like pressing on the gas and the brake at the same time. You don't want to cancel each other out or make it worse. Okay, pomegranate. Pomegranate is an example of one of the natural food sources of probiotics. There's a lot, really. Like, for example, the cabbage, you can tell who prepared it because of the bacteria on the hands of the preparer. Like when they make sauerkraut and they touch the cabbage, or they make sourdough and they're kneading the bread, kneading the dough. I know that sounds kind of nasty, like, ew, that human touched it and it can be linked to that human. Cabbage from all around the world, like different kinds of types or species, can be tweaked a little bit. So the bacteria, the probiotics, is slightly different. It can be traced, like to which part of the world, or even like to the human that helped to prepare it, to ferment these probiotic foods. So the pomegranate, coming back to pomegranate, has been long revered for its health promoting properties. I have a pomegranate over there. I haven't opened it. Okay, among its benefits is the remarkable ability to enhance gut health by increasing levels of a beneficial gut bacterium called Akkermansia musi. I think I think I typed it wrong. Mucinifila. Mucinifila. Oh my goodness. Either I've been saying it wrong the whole time, Akkermansia mucinifila, or I typed it wrong. I'm not sure. We'll just go with that. You can type Akkermansia, Akkerman, as in Nancy, SIA. And then mucinifila. Oh my goodness. I typed it as mucinifila twice. So maybe I've been saying it wrong this whole time. And now that I'm reading it out loud, okay, you get the point. Akkermansia mucinifila, however you say it, you find it, type it yourself. This probiotic, or this healthy beneficial gut bacterium called Akkermansia mucinifila is a special type of bacteria that resides in the mucus layer of the gut lining. It helps maintain gut health by breaking down mucin, the protective gel-like substance that lines the gut epithelium, thereby promoting gut bacteria integrity. Well, what does that mean? Okay, so Dr. Oh, I have his face. What's his name? Anyways, he helped his mom cure her cancer with pomegranate because of the Akkermansia mucinifila. I'm not used to saying it like that. I think I've been saying it wrong for months. I kept saying munciphilia. Anyways, these are one of the things that I think it's Dr. William Lee, discovered that helped his mom heal her cancer. So you can find specific foods with specific things to aid in healing specific diseases. That was just an example of another probiotic that is not necessarily fermented, but you can find it in natural food sources. And it states that this Akkermansia is associated with improved metabolic health, very important. People need to be taught this in society, in schools, really, metabolic health. Akkermansia is also associated with reduced obesity, reduced inflammation, and insulin resistance. It's also been shown to modulate immune responses and reduce gut inflammation, which is implicated in various digestive disorders. So, pomegranate has a rich source of polyphenols, particularly ellagitannins, which exert potent antioxidants and anti-inflammatory effects. Pomegranate also contains soluble fibers that serve as prebiotic, PRE, is the food of probiotics. So we want to feed the probiotics. We want to put probiotics into our gut, and we want to feed them too. Okay, so these prebiotic fibers in the pomegranate are easily fermented by gut microbes, producing short-chain fatty acids that support gut barrier function and overall intestinal health. Inflammatory properties of pomegranate polyphenols also contribute to an overall healthier gut environment, thus reducing gut inflammation. So many reasons. Okay, I think we beat the dead horse with pomegranate. Akkermansia, how do you say it? Mucinifila. You know what? When this is over, oh, who knows? Might even just put it in the Google and see how it's really pronounced. Okay, another example of these probiotics. Okay, we talked about Akkermansia. Now there's Lactobacillus rhamnosus. I was also saying this wrong for a long time because the doctor that I learned it from was saying it wrong, and I had to figure it out later that the spelling and the pronunciation was different. So forgive me, but you get the point. L. rhamnosus strains are naturally found in foods. Consumption of these foods would give you some benefit. Like what? Mood, uplifted mood. Like, you know, those neurotransmitters that make you feel good. For instance, a study on Parmesan Reggiano cheese showed that it can have up to 10 million CFU, colony-forming units, of viable lactic acid bacteria per gram of product when you eat it. Okay, that's delicious. This rhamnosus, L. rhamnosus or Lactobacillus rhamnosus, when I first learned about it, the doctor called it rhamnose, but as I looked it up, it was actually spelled rhamnosus. So we all make mistakes. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor or not. This is also found, like the rhamnosus and L. reuteri. These probiotics are found in examples such as the Parmesan Reggiano, that's real, and the authentic sourdough, and it helps to elevate and boost your mood. It increases things like the serotonin and the other feel-good neurotransmitters. I'm trying to remember what they are off the top of my head. But anyways, it's the chemicals that boost your mood so you can feel more relaxed, pleasant, and joyful, and good mood, happy. Who doesn't want that, right? Okay, some reuteri foods. L. reuteri or L. lactobacillus. What are these things that I'm telling you? These are specific examples of probiotics. L. reuteri can be found in salmon, breast milk. Woohoo, breast milk. Sweet potatoes, artichokes, and beans. These are also mood boosters, feel-good chemicals for your brain. They boost serotonin, melatonin, endorphins. Again, referring to the brain-gut axis. Okay. So here are some examples that I will show you of how to read labels on foods, whether they're processed. Well, actually, yeah, if it's just like an apple or unprocessed whole food, it should not have a label. Okay, this is, let's see, how do I look? Oh my gosh, was my head cut off the whole time? I was reading, so I didn't see myself. I hope not. Okay, you see this? This is Hue brand of chocolate. It's healthier. Why? Let me show you. I'm going to read it to you because it's kind of dark here. This is the kind of stuff that you want to look for when you're purchasing processed foods, if you purchase processed foods. And what did I call it? Oh, wow, we're already at 25 minutes. Okay, this is Hue, get back to human dark chocolate gems. So it says organic, paleo, no refined sugar, no cane sugar, no sugar alcohols, no erythritol, no soy or gluten, no palm oil, no lecithins, no emulsifiers. If you get this 100%, all this no, great. If you don't, well, the least amount of additives, the better. Ingredients: organic cacao, organic unrefined coconut sugar, organic cocoa butter. So that's one example of how you can find a treat like a candy or a chocolate without all the crap. Let's go to other examples. Okay, another example for chocolate would be Honey Mama's. I don't have it with me right now. Honey Mama's lavender rose chocolate truffle bars, or just any flavor chocolate truffle bars. I don't have this. Oh, actually I do, but I'm not going to dig it out of the trash. Another example would be Bellwether Farms sheep yogurt. I'm not going to read you all the ingredients because this video is getting kind of long, but the ingredients from this chocolate of Honey Mama's and this yogurt from Bellwether, it specifically has, okay, I'll read you a little bit. Pasteurized sheep milk. Active cultures of S. thermophilus. Probiotic. L, or lactobacillus, I don't even know how to spell it right. Bugalgricus, L. acidophilus, and bifidus. Okay? If you have other stuff like gum, whatever, guar gum, acacia gum, or just, different emulsifiers, different additives, you don't want that. You don't want that in anything, like your yogurt, your chocolate, doesn't matter. Here's something else that's good. Here's some olives. This brand actually doesn't have additives, so I'm showing it to you. What is it, pearls? Well, anyways, it just says olives. It's too dark, I can't really read it. But that's what you look for when you shop. This doesn't have any additives either. And let me tell you, it takes a lot of time to go shopping in grocery stores, whether they be health food stores or regular grocery stores, finding foods that have zero additives and toxins, just the pure stuff like hay, olives, and red wine, and sea salt. This has organic strained tomatoes. What is it called? Bio Nature. Okay, so it's hard. It's not easy. It's time consuming. But when you read all the labels, like when you buy juices, it's very important that you read them, because even though you buy the same brand, some of them will say natural flavors. That is bad. That's code for, in the United States, we're allowed to put small doses of toxins in there. That's what natural flavors stand for, code for that. Okay. So I showed you some examples of some good stuff without the additives, which are toxins, which ruin your gut, ruin everything in your body, imbalance the hormones, everything. hormones, metabolic health, you name it. Okay. The first tier was whole foods, pure foods, unprocessed foods. Second tier is anti-inflammatory foods. Okay. The enzymes, minerals, and vitamins, they boost the immune system. They aid in detoxification. Why do I keep bringing up this word detoxification? You'll see. Oh, what was the title of this video? Something about exhaustion. The 3 biggest mistakes people suffering with chronic autoimmune diseases, yes, plural, autoimmune diseases do every day, and how to flip it to your advantage. That's why we have this first topic of anti-inflammatory foods, and I keep bringing up the word detoxification. Going back to the title, healing the chronic autoimmune diseases. Okay. So, what supplements, minerals, and vitamins aid in detoxification? Let's list 4 things right here from Ancestor Supplements. Probiotics, organs, like beef organs, leafy greens and cruciferous vegetables. Number 4, fruit. What are opposites of? So this whole topic of this video is, well, honestly, I'm going to link them together. This is the first topic. Talking about chronic autoimmune diseases. This is the first topic, the anti-inflammatory foods. What is a non-example of anti-inflammatory foods? Oh, so yes, this is the general topic, anti-inflammatory. Is this even showing? Anti-inflammatory foods. And we started off with to eat or not to eat. What does that mean? 2 things at least. It means what's the content of what you are eating and the timing of it. When are you eating? When are you fasting? That's why it's to eat or not to eat. The content and the timing. Okay, so for this video, to eat or not to eat topic, eating 24/7 is not an example of how to heal the chronic autoimmune diseases. Eating all the time. Okay, so that's the timing, number 1. Number 2, eating all the foods that are supposed to be eliminated from elimination diet for a majority of your diet instead of the power foods or medicinal foods. Instead of eating cake once a day or a week, having it in big portions several times a day and daily. So yes, you are allowed to have treats like cake, but you don't want to eat it. You don't want to be a glutton and overdo it and feed all the bad pathogens in your gut, in your body, and harm yourself. Other examples of inflammatory foods, since we were talking about anti-inflammatory foods, which are good. Other examples of inflammatory foods would be gluten, pasteurized dairy, processed foods, and table sugar. Do I have some of these? Yes. But the percentage matters in the timing. Now, why is this so important? Like, if we don't heed these guidelines of, like I said, oh, it's bad to eat 24/7 all the time and to be eating inflammatory foods. What happens if we do this? If we don't heed these precautions? Have you ever felt sick, weak, shaky, and unstable from having sugar spikes and crashes when you eat sugars and desserts on an empty stomach before even buffering it with the veggies and meats that would slow down the sugar absorption in your body? This is an immediate result of not eating power foods with particular order, in a particular order of foods. Yes, there is a science to which ones you should eat first to slow down the sugar absorption, to prevent the spikes and crashes of sugar. Have you ever felt, I'm just thinking if I should go deeper into that example or if I just move on to the next example because this video is getting long already. It's at 36 minutes. Okay. I'm not going to go deeper into it. I'm going to move on. So, have you ever felt sick or even had a low-grade inflammation because you ate a bunch of processed foods and seed oils, like maybe junk food from a bag like chips, or went to fast food, eating all those fried foods from a fast food chain like burger and fries? These are inflammatory. This is another immediate response to not consuming power foods or medicinal foods as a majority of your diet as a way to start off your meals. Okay, example 3. Inflammatory foods not only have the power to contribute to poor gut health and weaken the immune system, but also negatively impact our organs, slowing down and weakening detoxification. Ding, 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 ding. Why that word detoxification? Again, you'll see. So, if you eat these inflammatory foods, you can find yourself with less energy, more joint discomfort, and unhealthy heart. Avoiding these trigger foods, you'll give your body a better chance at healing and repairing and boosting the immune system. But eating these trigger foods actually makes it more hospitable. It says, hey, party in the house, to the parasites. What do I mean by parasites? Yes, there's etheric or spiritual or energetic parasites, which do correlate with the physical parasites. Whether you can see them or not, these, to me, are more important than the war that is outside of you and your body. These things inside of you, these tiny little things that we may not be able to see with the naked eye, called parasites, feed off of these toxins. They thrive on them. So you want to make your body inhospitable to these parasites. And I will talk more about this in the third video. This is going to be a 3-part series video. Three parts. So this is just the first part right here. I have to break it down because it's pretty long. Okay. So let me get my example. There's currently an epidemic of leaky gut in North America. Have you heard of IBS or irritable bowel syndrome? Not having a healthy gut because it is an imbalanced gut biome, or it's called dysbiosis, gut dysbiosis. It has holes like a hose that cannot function because it can't function properly because the water keeps leaking through the holes in the hose, coming out when it's not supposed to. This is why a lot of North American residents are having severe, unnecessary allergic reactions just to eating normal foods they used to always eat but cannot eat anymore due to severe histamine reactions, IBS, and other such discomforts. Good nutrients are leaking through the holes in the gut. Bad things are also leaking through the holes in the gut. Bad things like toxins and poop are leaking through the gut and going into the bloodstream and other places that it's not supposed to go. This is why the discomfort, the brain fog, mood disorders, severe inflammation, allergic histamine reactions, and unnecessary pain and suffering, both internally and externally, occur. Now, I'm going to show you an example of this video with regards to the leaky gut. Okay. What are we at now? 41 minutes? Oh my goodness. Wow. This might even be a 3-hour video when I paste them all together, but we'll see. Okay. We're still recording. All right, let me show you example of this leaky gut video. This video clip. Okay.
Concerns are the GMO seeds.
I would say I think the biggest concern is that some of these crops already have a pesticide in them. There's a certain crop called BT corn, and it has a BT gene. When the insects eat this corn, it makes their stomachs explode. And what I think is really interesting about this is that what it's doing is it's creating holes in the stomach lining of the bugs. And something that Americans are dealing with right now at really high rates is something called leaky gut syndrome, and that means that we're getting holes in the lining of our intestines. Why did we think that this would affect insects and not affect humans?
That would be the $64,000 question here, so thank you, Courtney.
So it's primarily the corn in America?
All right, so those were people talking to other Congress people to battle against these unhealthy things, such as the BT corn, which is causing one of the things that's causing the leaky gut. Like I mentioned, all the other toxins, which are the additives, unnecessary additives in food, but it's done by design. You have to ask yourself who's doing it and why. I'm not going to get into that here. It's probably going to happen. No, I'll talk about that in the third video. This is just video 1. They'll all be linked together to answer the 3 biggest mistakes that people with chronic autoimmune diseases do to keep them exhausted and how to flip it to their advantage. Oh my God, I actually remember the title. So I personally had leaky gut, and it took me over a year to heal it. It was so isolating. It was so painful physically, mentally, emotionally. I wanted to commit suicide. I couldn't sleep. And at one point, it was really embarrassing because I was teaching a class in person where I had to, I was teaching a class on vision improvement naturally, like, without surgery and without surgery, glasses, contacts, laser, all that. Just naturally, how to improve your vision naturally. My vision was fine at that time, and my eyes looked like they got punched because they were so inflamed. I had, at the worst points in my life, I had a flare which lasted so long at the worst point, at the peak, pinnacle worst points. Like I said, I wanted to commit suicide because 1, it was so painful, 2, physically painful. My skin was all flared up. Imagine you have a carrot or a potato, or you're a carrot, and you peel all the skin off. There's no barrier, so it freaking hurts. Like you're just walking like a wounded person in a war who got burned or bombed, and you have no skin. There's no barrier. It just hurts all the time. And people are mean and rude assholes saying, why don't you just take a pill? Why don't you put a cream on? Can you fix that? It's like, fuck you. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know that I couldn't sleep every day for 3 months straight with all the pain and discomfort. And it's very isolating. You get to find out who your real friends are, who's actually going to be there for you, and who's going to just, and who the assholes are. And whether it be your friends or colleagues or just people in general, strangers, people gather around food when it comes to social community and gathering. It's very isolating when you're healing this. It took me, like I said, it took me a little over a year. And, you know, you can't eat with people because people always go out to eat at restaurants or eat food with toxins. And when you're at this peak point and having leaky gut, everything triggers a flare, causes reactions, and then you don't even know if it's going to last an hour or a day or a week or 2 weeks. So you're afraid to eat. You can't just eat with people because you have a limited safe list of which you can eat without triggering a flare. Or you might just be in a flare for a long time waiting for it to go away, even though it was like 1, 2, or 3 weeks ago. Okay. What else? I had bleeding, cracked skin all over. I felt isolated. I wanted to die. Yes, it was a nightmare. It felt like there's wounds all over and there's lemon and salt in them all the time. So yeah, it stung and hurt all the time. It was embarrassing looking like that. But you know what? You have to live your life. I got stronger from that. I learned who my friends were at the time, and you know, I just got stronger on so many levels, you know, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. It's like, okay, it really was a dark night of the soul, and I learned so much. You know, I've healed other autoimmune diseases in my life over the decades, but going through so many different experiences really is my training. And no, I don't want to repeat it, but when someone goes through something, your pain becomes your power, your mess becomes your message. Like, it's in their blood, it's in their bones. They know what they're talking about because they've been there and succeeded through healing it. Versus just talking to maybe a doctor or someone who's just going by the book, but they can't relate to you and what you're going through because they've never experienced it for themselves. So it's not really connecting like empathy or sympathy wise, or you know what I mean? Like, they get it because they've been there. I get it. Okay, so this physical, emotional pain of this lesson really influenced me to transform my lifestyle forever, and I will only continue to improve and implement more as I age. I'm so grateful that I learned, you know, I had a doctor, a healer group, and you know, we were all going through the same thing. I succeeded. Others didn't. I put in the work, so I succeeded. And yeah, that's how it is. So with regards to the leaky gut and eating toxic foods and anti-inflammatory foods, inflammatory foods, and detoxification, I am tying it all together. Eating, what are some of the repercussions of, besides, you know, in addition to my personal experience that was at its pinnacle downfall, oxymoron there, I didn't plan on that, but what are what are the other repercussions of eating inflammatory diet? Eating a pro-inflammatory diet increases the risk of developing chronic conditions and can worsen existing pain. For instance, 30% higher risk of cardiovascular disease was found in those with most pro-inflammatory diets, with the most pro-inflammatory diets, which was linked to poor cholesterol profiles. Additionally, a high level of inflammation is linked to 49% increased risk of premature death, with higher C-reactive protein levels associated with a 42% increased risk. Okay, so how? Finally, we're going to tie this video up. How? How do we start implementing what we're supposed to do with regards to anti-inflammatory foods? I can't hear you. Okay. So we can hit it from many different angles. What to add to your diet, what to eliminate from your diet, when to eat and when not to eat, or when your eating window is and when your fasting window is. And you don't have to do a long fast. What I'm referring to just at this beginning stages is intermittent fasting. Like when you're sleeping, you don't eat. When it's daylight, you eat. That's just a nice, simple example of intermittent fasting. Many ways, many scenarios for intermittent fasting. And why? Why does that matter? The content of what you are eating and the timing, because it helps your body to get stronger, and if you do it the wrong way, it helps the parasites within you get stronger. We don't want that. Okay. So how do we do this? What to add to your diet, what to eliminate, when to eat, when not to eat, when you can eat cheat foods or inflammatory foods. Like for me, the percentage, tiny amount, okay? And when, like, don't eat it the first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. Like for example, get all your probiotics in first, get your beef organs in first, your minerals, your polyphenols, all your healthy anti-inflammatory foods that's nutrient dense, all that good stuff, like the protein, the meat, the vegetables, all those whole and processed foods, probiotics, vitamins, minerals, get all that good stuff first. And then if you have a cheat, go ahead and have it afterwards, and just a little bit. So, you're training yourself, training your taste buds and your body and your cravings and desires and addictions. You're training it. It will change when you change the content of what you ingest and the timing of it and the order. What do I mean by order? Like when I was talking about the sugar spikes, for example, eating the salads first, the raw vegetables first, and like the proteins, the meats first, or after. Like eat the salad, eat the raw vegetables, and then eat the meats, and then have the carbs last. What do I mean by carbs? Whether it be a healthy form of carbs such as sweet potato, or unhealthy such as a baked good like cake, have that last after. Because when you have the other stuff first, it buffers it so that the sugar spikes aren't so high and the sugar crashes aren't so low. It makes you feel like shit. Okay, so how else? What to eat, what not to eat, when to eat, and the order. When I mentioned the eating, when to eat, kind of like the circadian rhythm, follow the sun. I'm just being really simple here. I'm not going to go into like hours and numbers and eating windows and stuff. But like eating when the sun's up and stop eating when the sun's down. That's just a clear-cut, simple example. Okay, eliminate seed oils. What's seed oils? Okay, so the history of seed oils is that it creates profit. It was originally used for industrial machinery. Someone said, let's put it in the food. It saved money, it created profit, but makes people sick. Remove seed oils. Corn, soy, canola, grapeseed. Rapeseed is, grape with the G, like grapes, like the fruit. Grapeseed, and then there's rape, R-A-P-E. Oh, that sounds gross. Rapeseed, that's canola. In Europe, that's what they call it. Sunflower oil, sunflower seed oil, vegetable oil, etc. Those are the bad stuff. That's inflammatory. No, no, no. Noti, noti. Replace those with the good fats, good oils and fats. What are they? Get your paper, get your pen, take notes. You ready? Okay, replace them with these good oils and fats. Avocado, the avocado oil, olive oil or extra virgin olive oil, grass-fed butter, ghee, coconut oil, duck fat, lard, grass-fed beef tallow. Okay, so when you have the inflammatory foods, it creates more inflammation. Duh, just like it says in the name. All over in the whole body and in the gut. When this happens, it weakens the immune system, negatively impacts the organs, and it's slow. That causes the body to slow down and weaken detoxification. That's bad. We want to strengthen our detoxification. It's like having a clean house. We want to keep up with taking the trash out. We don't want it accumulating and stinking up the house or being too cluttered. We want it clean. We want circulation. We want flow. That allows for more vitality and wellness. Okay, so like we mentioned, the foods that are pro-inflammatory or may cause more intolerances are these. I'll give you the list. You can lessen them and or eliminate them completely, which I understand can be hard in the beginning. So you can progress, whether days, weeks, years, decades. You know, people say, oh, I want to quit drugs. I want to quit dairy. I want to quit sugar. I want to quit coffee, whatever, cigarettes. The point is, just start. You can start small. You want to set yourself up for success. If you start too big, you might set yourself up for failure. If you start small, at least you can gradually transform yourself and your lifestyle and set yourself up for success because it's more manageable. It's not such a shock to your system on all levels. Not just physically, but, physically, emotionally, all of the above. Socially. Okay, so how? We are on the how. How else can we do this? Wow, we're at 58 minutes. I am wrapping it up. We're getting there, folks. How else can we implement this topic of, does it show? To eat or not to eat with regards to anti-inflammatory foods and when to eat. You can write down what high nutrient dense anti-inflammatory foods to add to your diet in each category. Get your pen, guys. Okay, 1, beef organs, or if you're vegan, go for other stuff. 2, probiotics. 3, cruciferous vegetables and leafy greens. 4, bioflavonoids. Oh, I'll just put these together. Bioflavonoids and polyphenols, which are the rainbow-colored produce, rainbow-colored vegetables, fruits and vegetables. What do I mean? Really dark colors like you don't want iceberg lettuce. No nutrients. That's just nothing, just water. You want like purple cabbage, red beets. Those are like the blues and greens and the blueberries. And then like for the, that has the resveratrol. And then for the, what I'm naming right now are the bioflavonoids and polyphenols. They help support your kidneys. That's another pathway for elimination. because we are talking about detoxification. The reds, like red bell pepper, strawberries, tomatoes, okay? The red, like the tomato, red and tomatoes, that's the lycopenes. Okay, so you want all the different colors of the rainbow, the reds, the greens, the blues, the blue purples, the oranges, the yellows, like for example, the yellows, the quercetins. You want all of those because they all have a different characteristic that's going to boost you in your body and your immune system. So write down the foods in those, was it 4? In those, I think it's 4, in those categories that I just named. I'll go over it again. Did you get in your notes? Beef organs, or any kind of organs. What do I mean? Beef organs is great, grass-fed, the one that's really pure. And if you're vegan, well, then you have to look for other supplements that are vegan or plant-based. So beef organs, number 1. Number 2, probiotics. Number 3, cruciferous vegetables and leafy greens. Number 4, bioflavonoids and polyphenols, which are, in parentheses, the rainbow-colored produce. These cruciferous vegetables and leafy greens, these are anti-inflammatory foods. They're not like, the heavy starchy stuff like potatoes or corn, rice and beans. So you get a feel. This looks like a pretty ketobiotic diet. The anti-inflammatory foods. Okay, so go ahead and write down, like I said, what nutrient-dense anti-inflammatory foods you're going to add to your diet from each of these categories. That's the first step. The second step, pick a day and remove the foods with toxins from your pantry. This is fun. Trust me. It may not be the easiest thing because I felt bad, like wasting thousands of dollars of food, but I had to let it go because honestly, I was spending more than thousands of dollars on my health to heal all these autoimmune diseases, which are honestly the cause of all these toxins, whether it be through the food, the air, the water, the inhalation or exposure from synthetic materials, like whether it be the carpet or the car or, the fumes, you name it, body products, beauty products. So getting rid of these foods with toxins from your house, from your pantry from your house, your refrigerator, your freezer will really help. So that was step 2. Step 3, pick a day and remove foods with toxins from your freezer and refrigerator. That's step 3. How else? 4, resources. Look up foods which are the dirtiest with pesticides. You must get organic for that year. What do you mean for that year? Look up on the search engines Dirty Dozen for that year. Like, 2024, 2026. You can do the same for fish and other foods too, like which fish has the most mercury or toxins or metals, things like that. Okay, so that was the 4 steps. 5, set the intention or focus for the night, the week, the month before. Meaning you can take baby steps. Like an intention could be, for example, add protein, add probiotics, or remove certain oils like the seed oils. You don't have to do it all intense. It depends on your personality. It depends where you're at. Maybe you have cancer and you really want to heal, so you're going to be more intense and have drastic measures. Or maybe you just, I don't want to say pussyfooting, but maybe you're just like, okay, I'm just going to dip my toes in the water and kind of take my time. It's up to you. I don't know what your intention is, and I don't know where you're at with regards to your health and your motivation. Okay, so that was step 5, set intention or focus. 6, stock up on the whole foods. whole foods, unprocessed foods like dried beans that you actually have to cook, like in a crock pot. Apples. I don't really like apples. It's just an easy, visual to imagine a whole food like in its natural state. Stock up on whole foods, whether it be, I don't know, shrimp in the freezer or pasture raised eggs, pasture raised chickens, wild caught fish, kale from the farmer's market. Okay, step 7, stock up on healthier treats so that you are setting yourself up for success instead of having, like, I don't know, chips with toxins. You know what they are. I don't have to name them. I will tell you, instead of me naming the bad brands, let me give you an example for potato chips and tortilla chips. Okay, Boulder Canyon. It's not just that company. You have to actually read the ingredients. Like, get the one with avocado oil, potatoes, and sea salt. Why? Because if you get the seed oils, then that's still inflammatory. Like sunflower oil, what have you. You can get Boulder Canyon potato chips with, you have to read the flavors because some of them do have other toxins and additives. But the Boulder Canyon with potato, sea salt, and olive oil, or potato, sea salt, and avocado oil. So either avocado or olive oil. Now for the tortilla chips, for example, what is it? Siete brand. In Spanish, siete, 7, SIETE, siete brand chips. You really want to read it because you don't want all this other crap, like powdered or whatever crap that additives, chemicals that they add into it, and or seed oils. So go ahead and read that it's just, pure stuff like corn, salt, corn and sea salt, stuff like that. Okay, moving on. That's what I mean for stock up on healthier treats. Like this. Is it showing? Like the chocolate that's more pure, like Hue brand or Honey Mamas. Nourishing brands. Oh my gosh, 107, an hour and 7 minutes. I am wrapping it up. Okay, 7 was stock up on healthier treats. 8, reward system. Each time you implement a personally challenging step, if treat is not a healthier food, limit the amount and frequency. Like, for me, it's chocolate maven. Grand Petite Mocha Mousse cake. Oh my gosh, it's like a ganache and a mousse and the most decadent, moist, and to die for. I am not going to read that list because I already know I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat it. Sure, I may eat a little bit at a time, but oh my God, if I'm going to cheat, it's going to be worth it. And of course, I'm going to eat after eating all the probiotics and healthier foods first. Okay, so that reward system. 8, reward system. Each time you implement a personally challenging step. If the treat is not a healthier food, like I mentioned, my chocolate cake or whatever you call it, mousse, Grand Petite mousse, limit the amount and frequency. Yeah, that's easy for me because honestly, ever since I did the different things, like, I don't want to say parasite cleanses, but different variations of parasite cleanses, I don't crave sweets anymore. And that was years ago. So I not only trained my body not to crave the sweets and carbs, sugars. It's because I killed a lot of that stuff, those parasites that were having those cravings, desires, and addictions within me. So that's why it's not an issue anymore. Okay, Step 9, bedtime ritual. Write down in your journal what 3 good things you ate today that boost your overall diet and health in general. Like, for example, cruciferous vegetables, a beef organ, a probiotic. This boosts your good mood, good feelings, because you're actually focusing, allowing yourself to focus, allow yourself to feel the elevated mood. When you acknowledge and celebrate, writing these positive things that you had in your diet that day. Step 10, last step, woohoo! Implement these changes with an accountability partner. Share your wins, challenges, and support each other. If you want to do that, great. If not, that's cool too. If you just want to do it with your cat, tell your cat, whatever. It could be fun, and it could be more long-term, keep you on a more long-term track, and have you keep doing it longer when you have a friend or an accountability partner. Okay, so what do you guys think of that 10 steps of how we could implement to eat or not to eat with regards to this first video out of 3? 3 biggest mistakes people who suffer with chronic autoimmune disorders, diseases, and how to diseases with exhaustion and pain and suffering, and how to flip it to their advantage. Did you learn anything in this video? God, I hope so. I talked for over an hour. And it was all substance. It wasn't just talking out of my ass like some people do. No, that's fun and games too, we gotta have a party vibe sometimes and relax. It's just, in this video, I really jam-packed it. And I look forward to seeing you in video 2 and video 3. 3 biggest mistakes people suffering with chronic autoimmune diseases do every day, and how to flip it to your advantage. This was video 1. Thank you for watching. It is done. I'll see you in video 2 and video 3. Okay? Healing, it is all that is. Bye, folks. Rainbow Heart Freedom Eagle signing out.